Last time I was scheduled, we had a missionary, Father Quinn, and he said he wasn't going to preach any more than 45 minutes. I figured I did so. But today is Gaudete Sunday. The word Gaudete means to rejoice. We are rejoicing because we are halfway through our Advent journey. Today we wear rose-colored vestments. Rose vestments are worn on 2 Sundays during the liturgical year. Today and Laetare Sunday, which is halfway through Lent. We are full of joy as we await the birth of Christ on Christmas Day. In the first reading from Isaiah, the land is full of joy. The desert is blooming with abundant flowers. Isaiah tells us to be strong and not fear as we await the coming of the Lord. He also tells us that the blind will see and the deaf will hear. John, who is in prison, wants to know if Jesus is the real deal, if he is truly the Messiah. So he sends some of his friends to find out. Jesus tells them to tell John what they hear and see. The blind are gaining their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, and the dead are raised. These are the things that are foretold by Isaiah. But John wanted to be sure, even though he had known this from before he was born. Remember, when Mary, our mother, came to visit Elizabeth, John's mother, John leapt for joy within Elizabeth's womb because he knew even then that he was in the presence of the Messiah. All of us have been filled with joy in our lives. But we know sometimes we have to wait for this joy to happen. As St. James tells us in the second reading, even the farmer patiently waits for the harvest. He knows it will come, just as we know this Christmas will be here soon. However, we want it to be today. We know what many of the children are thinking. 10 days. Christmas. But we know that's not the only thing that brings joy on Christmas Day. Having the knowledge that Jesus is the Christ, the Holy One of Israel, the Anointed One, the Son of God, is born and fills our hearts with such joy that cannot be matched by the best of Christmas presents. Many of the saints have experienced this joy throughout the history of the church. Just imagine the joy St. Mother Theodore must have felt after surviving her first year at Indiana. The joy she must have felt when the schools that she and her sisters established in southwestern Indiana were thriving. Think of the joy that St. Stephen, the first martyr, must have felt when he looked up to heaven as he was being killed and saw the face of Jesus. Think of the joy that St. Juan Diego must have felt when he saw the image of Our Lady had been imprinted on his helmet when he gave the Bishop of Mexico the roses that he picked up from the mountain. We feel this joy when we come into the presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. We feel this joy when we witness the bread and wine transubstantiated into the body and the blood of Jesus. We will experience the extreme joy after we die, when Jesus says to us, "Welcome, good and faithful servant. Enter into my kingdom."